What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm ready to weigh in on my personal opinion of the DJI Avata drone. Now, if you've been following the channel for a while, then you probably already know I actually got my start with the DJI FPV drone back in April of last year in 2021, and because of that drone, I completely lost myself in the hobby, and I'm now fully into building and tuning and flying all my own drones. And yes, as soon as I saw that DJI was dropping a Cinewhoop style, I wanted to pick it up right away. I ordered this as soon as it became available, and I've been flying it hard as soon as I got it. If any of you have ever seen me fly the FPV drone, I fly that thing like I stole it because I really don't care if I break it. I'll just send it in to get repaired, or I'll repair it myself. It really isn't that hard to do, and it really hasn't cost me all that much money to fix that thing. So I said, fuck it, I'm gonna do the same thing with this one. Oddly enough, and I'm getting into the #1 reason why I absolutely love this drone, is its durability. I have not broken a single thing on this drone yet, and I've absolutely pummeled the crap out of it. And as you can see, it is completely scuffed. It is definitely banged up. You know, it's worse for wear, like this isn't even straight anymore. But I haven't even broken a prop on this thing yet, and it still flies just fine the way that I got it the first day that I flew it. So I have to say, as far as durability goes, this drone absolutely takes the cake. But with that said, I'm gonna move into the next thing that I don't like about the DJI Avata drone, is its flight characteristics. Now, first and foremost, if you're a Cinewhoop pilot who only intends to fly this thing like a Cinewhoop, this thing's actually pretty badass. This thing totally stays on par with my other Cinewhoops that I fly. It is very, very smooth. I think it flies as though it's on rails, especially if you're using the correct rates. I see a lot of people out there using rates with kind of high center stick sensitivity. I would highly recommend, if you want to fly this thing the way I do, which is nice and smooth, I would lower that center stick sensitivity all the way down to like 20 or even 10. I feel like you get much more control, especially in the middle of the sticks where you're trying to keep it nice and even. That's my recommendation for you if you're kind of having issues with it being a little bit wobbly and bobbly. But when I talk about flight characteristics, the thing that actually does suck about it is when you do try to get a little freestyle with it, it is not something that really handles quick, sharp, and snappy moves very well. I personally think there's something in the tune that's making it not really work quite well with the weight of it and the low torque of the motors. I think what's actually happening are maybe micro desyncs. That's just my personal opinion. I'm hoping in a later firmware version that they're going to address that issue and it'll stop flying like that. But yes, I've seen videos and other people out there who've actually had some pretty shitty crashes and have either lost this drone or damaged it because of that situation. Moving back into something that I do like about this drone, I really appreciate the usability of this drone. I actually let my girlfriend's stepdad, who's like 70 years old, fly this drone with the motion controller. I gave him very minimal instructions and he figured it out right away, had an absolute blast, went back home and bought one for himself. That's how much he really enjoyed it.
Do I have to give this back to you?
It's fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
Having the various modes like normal mode and sports mode for beginner pilots I think is amazing. I personally think this is a great beginner drone to start with. Until you start flying in full manual, then you can keep flying in normal and sports mode and you can still have a blast. Moving back into something I don't like, unfortunately the way that this drone holds the battery, it's not super secure the way that they've done it. Unfortunately, it's just plastic that's holding that thing in. Of course it's going to eject if you have a hard enough crash. So my recommendation is get a couple battery straps, put them together like I have, and you'll keep your battery in there nice and snug. I have not had an eject so far since I've used this method. Back into something else I really appreciate about this drone is its range and penetration. When I'm talking about the video quality that you get in the goggles too, the amount of range and penetration that you can get with this drone is just completely on a whole different level. Literally on the complete other side of this school, it's bricks and fucking trees and it's way the hell over there. I flew over there no problem, didn't have any sort of breakup and came back just fine. So as far as an exploring type of a drone, there is nothing that beats this drone. It's tiny, it's got the prop guards to protect yourself when you're like hitting limbs or anything like that, if you're in trees even. So really you feel like you can just go as far as you want, and the battery life is super long, so you can just keep on exploring, keep flying. And I personally love that aspect of FPV. I don't know about you guys, but I think that's pretty rad. And another thing that I don't like though, it's not because the SD card access is in the ducts. That's actually kind of normal. If you've ever had any other type of whoop, I know all my whoops have either the flight controller USB connector or the Vista connector or something in the ducts like that. There's just not a lot of options of where you can stick it. The thing I don't like about it is the fact that there's a door there. A couple of times I've had a few crashes where that door's kind of come open, and because of that, the prop won't spin. It'll say something like a motor error or whatever, and I can't turtle mode or I can't take off, and my drone come back to me. I have to actually go walk out and get it, and that kind of sucks. I don't see it opening mid-flight. I think it does secure and clip itself in far enough and secure enough that it won't just come out during mid-flight, because if it did, that would actually be really shitty. So hopefully not, but I don't think it will. Unfortunately, if it does, that's gonna really suck someday for somebody. One of the things that a lot of people complain about with the DJI Avata is the price. And I hate to tell you this, it's complete bullcrap. You're not gonna find any drone out there that is $629, has this much range and penetration, this long of a flight time, this good of a flight feel, and return to home, GPS, all the different modes and bells and whistles that you get with this thing, with the durability that this thing has. There's no drone out there that exists like that. And for $629, I think it's a steal personally. You may not agree with me, and that's fine. You're completely entitled to your opinion, but I think as much fun that this drone has brought me and my friends and family who've tried it. In fact, I met another pilot who was actually flying over here earlier today. He was an analog pilot who's never flown digital before. I let him go ahead and try out the Avata, and he was completely blown away because the video quality is good, the range of penetration is just, there's nothing compared to it. And I hate to say it, it's a good value. So who do I think benefits the most from the DJI Avata? Honestly, I would say a new pilot. Anybody who's ever really wanted to try out FPV themselves, to give it a try and feel what it's like. You have a great drone that can fly in normal and sports mode, and when you're comfortable, once you put a couple hours in the sim, you can throw this into manual and you can kind of send it. And if you crash a couple of times, it's gonna stand up to it because it is very durable. And I think this is perfect for a beginner because of that reason. And when DJI releases the O3 air unit, you're gonna be able to use the goggles too in some do-it-yourself builds with that air unit, and hoping that DJI actually comes through with their promise of actually making these backwards compatible with the Vista and air units. That would be pretty awesome, I'm not gonna lie. I love these goggles, they feel way better than the other ones. A lot smaller, a lot more compact. To me, they fit on my face just fine. I know some people complain a little bit about the nose area. It's a little bit too close to the face. For me, it's okay. I'm also hoping there's gonna be some third-party companies who decide to come out with a little bit better foam, but overall, I think these goggles are a huge upgrade. And it's super likely when the O3 air unit comes out that it's going to be compatible with this remote control. If you're the kind of person who likes to fly with gamepad style controllers, this one really isn't that bad. The gimbals to me are pretty good. It's just the fact that they're small. I like bigger remotes. I use a Radiomaster TX16S Max, and I think that's better for my hands, but this really isn't that bad. And something I've done to make this a little bit better, if you notice, I'm actually using the stick ends that came with my Radiomaster remote control, and I'm using them on this controller. It feels a lot better for me because I'm a pincher. So if you're a pincher, having slightly longer sticks is a lot better than the ones it comes with, which are kind of short and stubby. Much better for somebody who's maybe a thumber. And with that, you guys, I'm going to show you some footage that I've gotten with the DJI Avata. I don't do any sort of speed ramping or anything with my footage. All I do is put the footage in GyroFlow to smooth it out just a little bit, and I color grade it, and that's pretty much it. Edit it together, maybe with some music, but I don't do any sort of other editing to it. This is me just flying the way I fly my drone. And if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them down in the comment, and I can't wait to hear what you guys think about the Avata and your personal opinions on it too.
On your feet, light as air, just like me. You wanna dance, I wanna lead. A sleight of the hand that you never seen. You wanna dance, you don't know how to get it on the floor, man. Don't hold back for anyone. Close your eyes, just follow the inner light. You count on me. You count on me. You count on me. I can fly, I can breathe, learn to sing like do-re-mi. So you wanna dance, and you wanna be got out of